I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I am Tony Russo. No relation. We got a great show for this week. All sorts of fun. Our wives are famouser than us, which isn't hard to do, but still worth talking about. Todd's been all everywhere, man, all across this land, man. And then we've got beer, we've got singing, we've got baseball, and we've got housework, homework. So let's start off. Actually, let's start off with our famous wives, because I would like you to tell the story. You tell your story, I'll tell my story. I wonder if they're going to match up.
Well, I think it's being in the shadow of people who hold them in high regard and actually, as you said, have talent, where as opposed to us who just like to hear ourselves talk.
Absolutely.
This is notably show number 170, which is, maybe an arbitrary number because we've been doing it and we only started keeping track when we were like 2 years in.
Actually, only the first number is arbitrary. All the numbers after that have a reason.
Thank you once again for clarifying and exemplifying my lack of knowledge of the English language.
This has been How Words Work by Tony Russo.
I like to call it creative writing.
Yeah.
But,
I don't do any of that at all.
We're speaking.
I'm a technician.
Sure. It's speaking spoken word. Actually, we'll get to that in a minute. Yes, our famous wives taking pictures of booze has gotten my wife published, and all this time we thought you and I talking about it would get us, a big
little
deal of
recognition.
some sort. But no. Yeah. So. What is it? The Baltimore Magazine and then Beer Advocate Magazine, both featuring a burley oak cocktail that was created by a local blacksmith restaurant right here in Berlin. And Natalie went up there and took pictures. Justine has been a huge fan of Natalie's, a huge supporter, and even when she was not of her own self. And it's always amazing to have people like that in your life to continue to push and believe in you. So yeah, Justine, big appreciation and thanks for helping Natalie get that all off the ground, I suppose.
So did you get a copy of the magazine? Was that supposed to be part of the deal?
I know we haven't yet, but yeah, we're gonna go pick one up. I mean,
what I said to Kelly. Kelly also got in. With a photo of burley oak that she took for my book, and I had to get it cleared with the publisher. Can we use this photo? They found her on Flickr, and they said, we need this. You've got all these photos of burley. We'd like one. And Kelly's like, well, I have a better one. How about this? And so they're supposed to send a copy. But they didn't even say like it's out or anything. So what I'm wondering is whether it was in print or online. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it made the magazine, and then if it made the magazine, then we will buy the magazine. But we're not just going to say, hey, look, this is Baltimore Magazine,
So our wives are famous enough to have published pictures in print, but not famous enough to demand in their rider that we receive a copy of the $3 magazine or whatever.
Right. They didn't have that kind of juice. Actually, Kelly, because I'm sure Natalie also said, Natalie, the heart of GoodCleanFunLife.com, right? Yeah, yes. And they cut it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the only thing that I've physically seen is the Instagram that Burley posted earlier of the Beer Advocate, because I know they get several copies of the Beer Advocate down at the brewery.
Right.
So yeah, we'll probably swing by there and take one, to hang on the refrigerator next to the kids' midterm reports or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The only vaguely irksome thing is, Kelly was supposed to get a boost from it, like Kelly Russo Photography or whatever, and next time it's going to be like, you know what, go pound sand. Why don't you pay a photographer $1,400 to come down and take a picture of somebody at Burley Oak?
Right, exactly.
The first time we'll do it for publicity, and then if there's no actual publicity attached, it's tough.
Yeah, I'm still a little sensitive to the whole, sort of the artisan. oh, imagine the exposure you'll get, you know.
Right. But it would have been cool. It's so just to jump ahead and then jump back. I'm doing the Good Beer Festival this weekend. I'm photographing it, video, moving picturing it.
Yes.
And I'm just going to stand there and I'm going to point my camera and people are going to talk. I'm not going to do anything interesting or artful with it whatsoever. And they said, do you want to get paid for this? And I said, well, yes. And I said, and I don't care how much, but I just want to be able to say that someone paid me to do this.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten to the point now. I mean, even with my writing, I don't write for free anymore. They're like, if you can get traffic. No, I can't. I can't. If I could get the kind of traffic to make a living off of, I wouldn't be trying to write for you guys. So I think working for free is way overrated. But that's not taking anything away from the women who've done wonderful, and it's cool to be recognized for your work. But Kelly was like, I'm going to go tell them the pound stand. And I'm like, oh, no, if they'll put Kelly Russo Photography, and as appears in Eastern Shore Beer, I'll admit it, then it's okay to run it. And so they didn't run that, and, just in poor taste.
Well, and I think in this day and age, there's so much... like we always talk about, the search for legitimacy in your craft is, oftentimes an uphill battle. So having somebody just kind of snub you like that, just as, it's like, I feel like going, you're a print magazine. Haven't you read online that print is dead?
Yeah. And we're talking all this shit. It very well could be. I know that online sometimes they shorten the cut lines. It could they in the print magazine it could be all of those things. So
it's very possible that you're raising a stink without having all of the information.
Where I'm concerned, it's very likely that I'm raising a stink without having all of the information. Actually, that's kind of what I do. That's my thing.
All right, so let me ask you about this. You're going to be filming on Saturday. We'll be there, not being paid to film. In fact, we'll be paying to enter, but it's a good thing for us to get exposure to.
Right.
So, but you mentioned that you might be upgrading your equipment, and are you going after the drone pilots of the world?
Oh yeah, no, not this year. Maybe next year. I'm going to learn how to use a drone as part of my job this week, and that's $300. And I'll tell you what, if I can figure it out, I might spend $300 to have another. I mean, you can't get a decent camera for $300, let alone one that flies all over the place.
The coolest thing that I've seen recently coming from that sort of sector in the camera and technology. That is something we talked about, all my high school buddies, years ago, is just to have, this hovering camera, because we all thought we were hilarious,
right?
To we do now, but just to have this hovering camera capturing your every moment would be amazing. Well, they have these drones and they have these programs where they're GPS enabled, and they essentially do that. So, like, if you're you're an outdoorsman and you're going for a long jog through a scenic area, it can be one-man operation and basically just points the camera at the GPS and follows you. So I think that would be. I actually think that's a more. I think that's a more beneficial feature to come out of the new drone technology that's happening all over.
Well, I'm sure next summer we'll see drones on the Ocean City beaches that, like Secret's drone cam and Mackey's drone cam or whatever, and just doing these, because you can do these pans. I mean, you can set them up to run a route, and that's what we're using them for at my job. If I plug it for a second, we're teaching kids how to program. So what they're going to do is they're going to learn how to program a route into these eventually, not on Friday, but eventually. They're going to learn how to program a route into these drones, and that's all you do. You program the route, go up for 13 seconds, go right for 13 seconds, go down for 13 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you don't even have to have somebody there controlling it remotely. You set in the flight plan, I mean, you don't you could set the flight plan and go home for the day.
Yeah.
Put the drone on your window. Say, okay, at 2 o'clock, I want you to go up. I want you to look at everybody's secrets. I want you to go make one long pass down the beach, make another long pass up the beach, come back and land right here.
Yeah. That
Good
is
night.
cool.
And then come home the next day, pick it up off the floor, and take the video out of it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is crazy. I'm a little. I actually am hesitant to jump on the drone bandwagon a little bit for what we do, because I think that it would be great to be able to have that for the type of things that we do. It's just it's a little ancillary piece. It's just like the opening shot or something like that.
Absolutely, you would hardly ever use it.
So my idea is, everybody's using the drones, and I'm all for it, because there are some amazing cool shots that happen. And actually, the programming feature is actually unique. But my idea, I want to bring back the old boom cam. I want to have a big, jig that you're rolling out onto the deck at Secrets to pan over the crowd that way. I think
that's very, very hipster of you. Yeah, you can play your Victrola while you do it.
When we're gonna go back to film, and it's gonna be at 8mm. Yeah.
If you get the opportunity, there is a tour of the Space Needle on a drone. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yeah.
A guy threw a drone out of his hotel window and flew all around the Space Needle in Seattle.
That's pretty cool.
And it's what's great about it is the video is all of people taking videos of the drone, taking videos of them. Yeah. It's everybody standing up going chick 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 chick.
Right.
So, well, it's also a little nauseating because you get that point of view floating in the air. It hurts your feet a little bit.
Right. There was we had a big event, and the segue is that there was a guy with a drone there that I went to go hand my card to, and he was just looking up, so I couldn't hand my card because he was just staring at the sky. But we were back up in Dewey Beach this past weekend for the Dewey Goes Pink, which was the 4th annual 5K raising awareness for breast cancer and money for the Delaware Coalition of Boobs or something like that.
Right. Well, you said something interesting on I think it was Facebook about I'm not looking, I'm just helping or something like that.
No, this guy had a shirt on, and it was the best shirt that I've seen. It said, "I stare because I care."
That's what it was.
And for already being the creepy guy at bars with a camera.
Right. Yeah.
That seemed like a perfect shirt for me. But that was a great event. 4th annual, sold out, 2,200 people, a massive amount of people running these 5Ks. And this is one of the best ways to raise money. If you have a fundraiser, or if you have a nonprofit that you're looking to do, I saw it with the PJ Aldrich Foundation too. It's like this time of year, and then in the spring, people go around and run these 5Ks in almost like a circuit, and they're all for charities. And then there's organizations that come down and basically set up the whole thing, and they take whatever they need to survive. But then they, with the registration fees and everything that comes in, it's an amazing, very beneficial for a nonprofit to do a 5K. And this was a fun one. Of course, it had the Starboard twist on it. Tons of sponsors. Actually, it's worth mentioning that it was started because Monty, the owner of the Starboard, lost his mother to breast cancer. So it was heavy, but it was fun. And huge amount of food. Dogfish was there at the finish line, handing out free beer to people, because that's something they do at 5Ks,
Uh-huh.
So, why wouldn't you want to do a 5K?
Right. I wanted to know, what was the twist? Did you have to wear pink? How does that work?
Oh, everybody. You didn't have to do anything, of course, but there was a lot of pink. And tutus and on men, women, and children.
Oh, I see.
You know, so it was definitely similar to the running of the bulls, which everybody wears, like the Pamplona wears red and white.
Right.
Here, everybody was pretty much donned in some sort of pink for the event. So yeah, actually on their Facebook page, uploaded a little teaser video that we're putting together for the whole run, but it's got a nice little screenshot of everything that's going on.
It's very cool. Can you tell me, do we have any listeners with us?
At this point, I'm seeing no.
Okay. Is PJ Aldridge still with us?
Yes.
Awesome. That's great. That's fantastic. I had to look at the internet and I didn't see that he wasn't. And you mentioned him and I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about him in a long time. I almost said, I hope he's doing well. And I'm like, oh wait, I guess the point is that he wasn't doing real well. So that's fantastic.
Yes. Haven't spoken to him in a while, but from actually just connected on Facebook not too long ago.
Well, I hope he's doing well, and he's because his point is he's not even save me, he's like save the next guy kind of thing. So
right.
He's doing good work. I don't want to talk down to him, you know what I mean. But I could not ask. So you were at the St. Michael's Church.
Yeah. So Saturday was Dewey Beach for the Dewey Goes Pink. And then Sunday, they had a fundraiser out at historic St. Martin's Church.
Oh, St. Martin's. I wrote St. Michael's, so I said St. Michael's.
Ah, right. No, yeah, the church over here, one of the oldest churches on the Eastern Shore. It's actually a great location. We've done stuff with them, and they're a fantastic organization with a lot of old heads from the area. In fact, I'm not gonna spill the beans yet, but we may be doing a project that is something that you and I have talked about both on and off air about kind of documenting some of the old families and some of those people who are getting up in age and have some great stories. We're talking about laying down on film, which would be cool, and doing it through the backdrop of the historic St. Martin's Church, because there's a lot of big name families who have been involved in that organization.
Yeah, that's like my third or fourth fallback position in the zombie apocalypse, because it has those windows that close. It's got functioning.
They open in, yeah.
Yeah, it's got functioning shutters.
Yes.
Which is important. You can close that whole son of a gun down and leave it closed down until you decide to open it.
And plus, it's a church, so you got that going for you.
Yeah. So there's always water in the well in the baptism font. Do they do that? Is that the kind of baptism? Is that a baptizing church, or do they just go down to the river?
I think that they just go down to the river at this point.
So just a couple quick things. One thing I want to tell you, I broke my house, and there's no good way to talk about it, but it's something I want to tell because the way I unbroke it is kind of amusing, I feel. So been working on the house. I've been installing fans, and there's something the matter with my bathroom light switch. So I was going to do that first, and it was the first light switch I tried to install, and I misinstalled it. You're familiar with how to install light switches.
I do. It's been a little while, but I used to be a contractor.
I used the neutrals. Instead of tying them and running them through, I put the neutrals on one side. I blew out the socket that it was attached to.
Right.
Not a huge deal. A little embarrassing. But so before I went any further, I contacted my friends at YouTube and asked them, hey, how do you install a light switch? And this guy, he's an old IBEW type, like old Pittsburgh Union guy. And he's like, some of the DIYers this, and I'm like, who's watching your video? Where you don't have to kick me when I'm down, but I'm watching your video. No one who's not a DIYer is watching your video. Other licenses aren't watching this just to critique your method.
Right.
These are all DIYers, and you're like, dude, some DIYers will do this, some DIYers will do that, but that's not the case at all. I actually literally have to take that. So why don't you tell me about the Cardinals and the Orioles?
I don't know. I have no idea who the Cardinals are, but I know that the Orioles. I was able to watch.
Yes, I'm still also podcasting.
I was.
All right, love you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'm sorry. My daughter's having car troubles. I wanted to make sure that she wasn't.
That's great.
So how about them Orioles?
How about them Orioles? Are the Cardinals actually playing? Because
Yeah, I think the Cardinals beat the Dodgers.
Okay.
In game 1, and the Dodgers were up like 6-2. And then in the bottom of the 9th, the Cardinals came back and beat them like 9-6.
Okay, so the next game, I know that. I mean, I understand baseball.
All right.
I don't. We've talked about this before. I don't like baseball, but I hate the Yankees. So
right.
I think the equivalent of that is when the Orioles, who I went to Memorial Stadium with my parents, way back in the day, and used to enjoy that. I have some very fond memories of it, but just haven't had the attention span in my adult years to watch 700 games or however many games they play.
Yeah.
But I can watch 3 playoff games and get rallied around it. I don't know if that makes me a bandwagoner or not. I'd throw in the Memorial Stadium thing just to make me sound legit.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's. I mean, I like baseball. Like, if I lived close enough to a professional team and I had the cash, I would have season tickets. I could go every day.
Yeah.
Especially if I had the kind of money where I could afford season tickets. I mean, what the hell else am I going to do? Being a gajillionaire or whatever. But the Orioles they're headed for the ACLS, the American League Championship Series, where
that's what we were doing. That's what we were doing the bucket challenge for earlier this year.
It was just as effective. But yes, so the Orioles will play. It looks like the Kansas City Royals, and it's just like 1985 all over again. It's very mid '80s where the Yankees are having a tough time, and it's like the Orioles and the Royals are are real teams, which is very cool. The Dodgers are back, and that's all I have to say about baseball. The Mets have been out of it since July, so I really haven't been paying too much attention. If there's a bet to be made on the World Series, I'll bet on the World Series. But other than that,
well, I watched my first full game, which was basically the 3 playoff games combined in the amount of innings that I actually watched. So
there, and it's funny. Just like I really do. I listen to baseball on the radio, like it's 1950 and I'm in a pool hall or something like that. And I don't do some other stuff. I sit and I listen to the game on the radio, and then I do stuff during the commercials, very much as I do with football because I don't have cable, so I listen to football on the radio and do stuff during the commercials.
Well, and I think football on the radio is more enjoyable because the watered down commentary that is just so just bland and that on the network shows is just almost unbearable.
Yeah, it's like, God forbid, like when they cut away to the New York studios, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go kill myself now.
I actually, there's a lot of crazy things that are going on with the NFL right now, and all of the controversy over whatever drugs, spousal abuse in general, all of that sort of thing. And a buddy of mine, Adam, was talking about an article that he read a while back that was comparing the fall of the Roman Empire and people's adoration and hero worship of the gladiators at the time,
right?
And to modern America, and I think that we should stop calling it a game. I think that it is not a game. I think that it is battle. And
sports entertainment, like the WWF or whatever they call it, WWE. I call it sports entertainment.
It is.
I like to watch sports entertainment. I've said this, and I'd like to say it over and over again because it's just vicious enough for me. okay, the least any NFL player is guilty of is date rape. That's the best. That's the least crime that all of them are guilty of. And I always think it's sweet that we pretend that we care, because we don't. You know, we care when it happens. Like, bad things happen to the Ravens, I love it. You know, I don't care if bad things happen to the Jets. It's not going to stop me from watching. You know, but I do think that this is the time for and I think I've made this pitch to you before, like, not only allow steroids, but allow, like, biological enhancements.
Like bionic men.
Absolutely, bionic men. If these guys want to be them, absolutely. Just, you know, like, let them grow like sabers instead of claws, where they can just, like, cut a guy in half as they're running down the field. You know, I say arm these sons of bitches and let them go at it. I don't care if they live or die. I don't care even a little bit. You know, everybody's like, oh, we have to protect them. No, you don't have to protect them. I'm so glad so many of them are going to get Alzheimer's that we're just going to be making fun of them drooling on themselves in another 20 years. They freaking deserve it. We don't need to protect them. You knew what you were getting into, and you're a scumbag. So now entertain me. And so that's how I pretend like I'm the emperor, very, very much like that. Yeah. Like, okay, now entertain me, you big burly men.
Yeah. And
you hit that other one over there. Let me laugh at it.
The Jets.
Oh, and the Jets fans, by the way, are the ones who would totally do that. We're one of the most honest fans you're ever gonna find. Like,
oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Mark.
Orioles. I mean, the Ravens can have a rebuilding season. You know, the Patriots can have a hard time. The Jets suck, and the fans will tell you the Jets suck because they always suck. And this time next year we'll be saying, oh, maybe they have a chance, and then no, they don't. They suck. Because you know why? Because they're the Jets. Because they suck all the time. That's what they do.
Well, that's my contention. Being a Redskins fan is that it's like being in a 12-year abusive relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, it's okay. It's okay, babe. We got you. We got you this nice, you know, first-round draft pick quarterback, and
yeah,
everything's gonna be better. Everything's
gonna be different this time.
It's gonna be different.
Okay, so let's close up real quick with the Good Beer Festival. Find me in the homebrew section. Anybody who wants to come, I would love to see you. You can pre-order my book. I don't know if I mentioned, but I wrote a book. And I'll have order forms for anyone who's interested in pre-ordering the book. It's really just contact information, so I can tell you that the book's out and invite you to my opening. You are invited to my opening if you'd like to come. I don't know where it is, but it's definitely November 11th.
Okay.
Probably in Cambridge. I don't know where in Cambridge, but it's definitely November 11th. Anyone who's listening is also welcome to come. Just hit me up on stateofthebeer.com for all your Tony Russo beer information.
Very good, very good.
What do you got coming up on the weekend?
We'll be visiting you on Saturday of the Good Beer Festival, and then having our own Good Beer Festival of sorts that we do yearly now. It's the fall beer tasting here at the Crow Bar, and who would have thought that in the past 3 years this whole pumpkin beer thing would have caught on the way that it does.
Yeah, pumpkin's not my favorite, but there's a Google group, a Google craft beer group that has 31 days of you're supposed to try. That's a 31 beer challenge. You're supposed to have 31 different pumpkin beers.
Yeah.
In October, and it's not that hard to do.
Yeah. Well, and now so we've been doing this, and like I said, it started as just the fall beer tasting. Natalie likes the pumpkin. It's not my favorite, but yeah, now there are like articles on, you know, and rating the top 25, you know, somebody else's personal top 50, you know, like there are a lot of pumpkin beers out there. So that will be on Sunday, and it's open, and we usually have some of the local beer stars stop by, Christy Kruger from Evo, Randy from RAR. I don't think Brian might stop by if he's around. So, you know, it's just kind of fun that, you know, we're able to get together just here at the old Crow Bar and put something together like that. So yeah, that will be Sunday, open to the public. All of the viewers right now are welcome to come.
You'll pay for your ticket even.
Yeah, I'll pay. Yes. Yes, the ticket is yours.
All right, cool. And well, that's all I got. How about you?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, may Todd give you the sense to live in a small town?
We'll see you next week at Happy Hour.
Cheers.
Cheers.